Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to talk about a very important case in company law. The case of application by Yee Yut highlights an important principle in company law. A director is not personally liable for a company's debts except in cases of fraud, breach of warranty of authority, or other exceptional circumstances. This case arose when Madam Yee Yut, a director of Trends Market Research Private Limited, sought an order of certiorari to quash a decision by the Industrial Arbitration Court, which had held her personally liable for retrenchment benefits owed to former employees of the company. The High Court ultimately ruled in her favor, reinforcing the established legal position that directors are generally not responsible for the company's debts. The facts of the case are straightforward. Madam Yee was the secretary and later appointed as a director of Trends Market Research Private Limited, a Singapore incorporated subsidiary. The company had been incurring losses since 1972 and decided in October 1975 to retrench 3 employees. The retrenched employees, represented by the Singapore Manual and Mercantile Workers Union, pursued a claim for retrenchment benefits, which was referred to the Singapore Arbitration Court. The Singapore Arbitration Court heard the case on the 18th of June 1976, but the company did not send legal representation. The court ruled that the company must pay the retrenchment benefits amounting to $10,180. At the time of this decision, Madam Yee was not yet a director of the company. She was only appointed as director 2 years later in July 1976, mainly to comply with the requirement under the Companies Act that at least one company director must be ordinarily resident in Singapore. Despite repeated reminders, the company failed to comply with the court order. On 9 of January 1978, the Industrial Arbitration Court held that Madam Yee, as secretary and director of the company, was personally liable for the payment of the retrenchment benefits. This ruling was made despite legal arguments presented by her lawyers, pointing out that company law does not impose personal liability on directors for company debts unless there was fraud or a breach of duty. In response to this decision, Madam Yee resigned as director and then applied to the High Court for an order of certiorari to quash the Industrial Arbitration Court's ruling. The key legal disputes in this case centered around 3 main issues: whether the Industrial Arbitration Court had the jurisdiction to hold Madam Yee personally liable, and whether the directors can be held personally liable for a company's debts under Singapore law. On the first issue, Madam Yee's counsel argued that she was not a party to the original retrenchment proceedings and that the Industrial Arbitration Court had overstepped its authority. On the second issue, it was submitted that under well-established company law principles, a director is not personally liable for the debts of a company unless there was fraud, breach of warranty of authority, or exceptional circumstances. The High Court ruled in favor of Madam Yee and quashed the Industrial Arbitration Court's order. The High Court reaffirmed the fundamental doctrine that directors are not personally liable for company debts except in specific situations such as fraud or misrepresentation. The High Court emphasized that nothing in the Companies Act altered this principle. This case serves as a significant affirmation of the protection offered to company directors under Singapore law. It reinforces the principle that a company is a separate legal entity and that its obligations do not automatically extend to its directors unless exceptional circumstances apply. For business owners and company directors, the case underscores the importance of understanding the scope of their legal responsibilities. While directors have fiduciary duties and obligations under the law, they are not generally responsible for company debts unless they engage in misconduct. It is crucial for those in corporate leadership positions to ensure compliance with statutory requirements while also being aware of their legal protections. Thanks for joining me in today's video. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.